Better this production. Happy New Year's to everyone. But before I can welcome the new year, I want to talk about my favorite movie of the previous year, The Long Walk. I rarely, if at all, talk about current movies as I'm a big fan of old horror. I just can't help stop thinking about The Long Walk, where 50 young men compete in a contest. They must continuously walk or be shot by the military escort following behind them until there's only one left. It has been a cool minute since a good Stephen King adaptation has hit the big screen. I wasn't the biggest fan of The Monkey by Oz Perkins this year, and Salem's Lot was pretty fun, but it didn't have the emotional weight that the best Stephen King adaptations have, like The Green Mile or Stand by Me. So naturally, I am more than happy to say The Long Walk was not only a great movie, but one that will go down with the greats in the Stephen King cinematic universe. I freaking love this movie. My favorite King elements are in here, such as the power of friendship, forgiveness, love, and human kindness. So, the rules of the long walk are fairly simple as the contestants have to keep a 3 miles per hour walking speed, which is tracked by a watch they have to wear. If they go below that speed, they get up to 3 warnings. The fourth is when they get killed. Each warning dissolves after walking the speed limit for an hour up until they have 0 warnings. This leads to some suspenseful moments in the movie where the characters have to pick and choose when to use such warnings for a break in the action because, of course, they at some point have to pee and poop and rest their feet. The movie mainly follows a group of people, two of which are the leads, Ray and Peter. The side characters, which are still great and have their own storylines within the movie that are all tied up by the end of it, some even having their own little arcs, such as Arthur, Hank, Stebbins, Gary, and of course the big bad villain, the Major, played by Mark Hamill. As the movie goes on, we start to pick and choose which characters we want to see win or lose, or which ones we want to find more about them. They all have their distinct personality with their own reasons on why they are in the long walk. The beginning of the movie does a great job of developing these characters and their goals, which makes the inevitable death of each one of them more gut wrenching. I was crying all throughout the second half of this movie because of some of my favorite characters' deaths, such as Arthur's death. This one really hit me hard and made me sob. When we first meet Arthur, the man ask him about why he's participating in the long walk and it's for the prize at the end, which, like I said, is a wish that no matter what it is will be granted to you. But he also says maybe make some friends along the way, and that comes back to his death scene where at this point Art has started to mentally deteriorate and is only being pushed by Ray and Peter, who are trying to keep him alive as long as possible. They are literally carrying him and trying to keep him pushing. They start to talk to him and give him some praise about lasting as long as he did, saying that he gave it his all and even made some friends. Art responds joyously. Then Art asks Ray to promise to give him his necklace to his grandma and finally separates himself from them, ready to go home. He just constantly keeps saying that, like, I want to go home, like, I'm ready to go home. And I was just a mess watching this scene. But the best scene in the movie that put tears to my eye had nothing to do with one of the deaths, but an act of friendship that is seen all throughout this movie with the bonding of Ray and Peter. I love the relationship and how they start to bond not just with themselves, but with the other characters in the film. This brings me to my favorite scene where it's night now and Ray has already gotten 3 warnings and is about to die if he slows down one more time. And at this point, Ray has cussed out Peter and told him he doesn't need his help and is only pretending to be friends with him. But it's just him projecting his anger and he's, tired, upset, and is almost about to die. The worst is yet to come as they reach a hill. One of the characters is an asshole that keeps yelling at Ray that he is going to die. All the while, you can hear gunshots in the background indicating the deaths of other men. Ray is almost up the hill but is exhausted. When out of nowhere, Peter joins his side and starts to help him, giving him advice such as putting water on his head and to keep him awake. Ray breaks down and starts to apologize to Peter, almost hyperventilating that he didn't mean what he said and only said that because it was the heat of the moment. He couldn't take the pressure, and Peter accepts his apology, knowing the circumstances they are both in. And it was just such a kind, just a act of friendship that's really heartwarming. This is one of my favorite scenes, not just in this movie, but of the year. The power of friendship is highlighted here. No matter what happens, friends will be there for other friends no matter what. This scene is a microcosm of the whole movie, as there are so many moments like this where these guys who have just met each other, not even for a week at this point, are spending the last days of their lives together and acting like they knew each other for years in their final moments. They all try to be there for one another and crack jokes and have small talk and just be alive and enjoy the moment for as long as possible. Also, just to glaze the uphill scene a bit more, I want to touch on the directing, as this scene could be shot from different angles of all the kids being shot, but we don't do that. We stick to the perspective of Ray for the most part as he tries to climb the hill, all the while hearing all these kids die, and it makes it more personal, more suspenseful. It's been a long time since a movie has had such an emotional impact on me to the point that I don't see myself being able to watch this movie, and I mean that in the most positive of ways. I think this is the best movie of the year, in a year that is so stacked with the likes of Frankenstein, two Predator movies, Wake Up Dead Man, Weapon, Sinners, Bring Her Back, and Companion. This is the one that stuck with me, and I can't help but give it its flowers. Such a simple concept executed to the highest of degrees. Big shout outs to the writer JT Moner, who also did Strange Darling, which is a masterclass in film structure. The script to this movie has no fat, and all the scenes are necessary and built on top of one another for great payoffs and a solid ending that is very poetic. And speaking of the ending, I'm not sure what people think about the ending, but I don't believe it's actually how the movie really ended. Like yes, Peter has killed the major, but I think that he was killed right after by the military. I don't think he was just let free. Like, there's no way they would not shoot him after killing the major, right? But if he wasn't shot, then I think that it's very symbolic that he looks onto the empty road and just continues, walking on this long walk, as he doesn't really, right? He's told in the movie that he doesn't really have a purpose. I think him continuing to walk on the long road is very symbolic to his journey, as he has done right by Ray and stopped this tyranny. So he must walk this road without knowing where it goes, right? It's very uncertain. His future is very, he doesn't know what's going to happen, but that is kind of a hopeful ending in some terms. Like, I don't know, it could be either one of these, because maybe the military does only go under the orders of the major. Now that he's gone, they don't have to do anything anymore. I advise everyone watch this movie just to prepare to cry and really feel every emotion in the book. It's so good, and that's really all I have to say. So happy New Year's and better days production. Peace out.